Imagine this. You're going through your day-to-day life, and suddenly everything starts to feel overwhelming, like the weight of the world is just too much to handle. It's like you're a pencil being pushed until it snaps, or a water balloon filling up until it bursts. We've all been there, right? But what if I told you that in these moments, when you feel like you're just about to break, that's exactly when you're showing your true strength? Now, this isn't the kind of strength that's loud and showy. It's not like the flashy heroics you see in movies. No, this strength is different. It's deeper. It's about the quiet victories, the small but powerful moments when you keep pushing forward, even when everything seems to be pulling you back. This is the real, raw strength that doesn't always get celebrated, because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is just keep going when the going gets tough. And you know, the Stoics had a lot to say about this. They believed that our greatest tests come not from our successes, but from our struggles. They taught that every challenge, every obstacle, presents an opportunity to grow stronger, to fortify our character. It's not about never feeling overwhelmed or never facing barriers. It's about how we respond when those barriers appear. Do we let them defeat us, or do we find a way to rise above them? So, as we dive into today's discussion, remember, real strength isn't about never breaking. It's about how you put the pieces back together, how you turn those broken bits into stepping stones for something greater. Let's explore what this looks like in real life, identifying those subtle signs of strength that you might not even realize you have. Because, believe it or not, you're stronger than you think. Sign 1. You embrace change. Change is like that new road you've never driven on before. It might be bumpy, it might twist in ways you didn't expect, and it might even take you places you never planned to go. But just like any seasoned traveler will tell you, it's those unplanned routes that often lead to the best discoveries. And when you embrace the uncertainty of change rather than resist it, you're showing a kind of strength that's rare and incredibly powerful. Think about the last big change you faced. Maybe it was a move to a new city where you didn't know a soul, or perhaps it was a new position at work that pushed you out of your comfort zone. Initially, that pit in your stomach and the sleepless nights might seem like signs of weakness or fear. But here's where we flip the script, because feeling that discomfort and choosing to move forward anyway, that's what strength really looks like. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers known for their practical wisdom, had a lot to say about change. They believed that our lives are constantly in flux, and that the only thing truly within our control is how we respond to the changes that come our way. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor to boot, once said, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." This idea, that we can shape our experience of life through our thoughts and reactions, is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy and a powerful tool when facing change. By embracing change, you're essentially practicing one of the most important Stoic principles, the art of acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation or giving up. No, it's about recognizing that some things are beyond your control and then deciding to act only on what you can control. For example, you can't control if your company decides to move you to a new branch, but you can control how you approach that move, whether you see it as a burden or an opportunity for growth. Embracing change also involves preparing yourself mentally for the inevitable ups and downs that come with it. It means being resilient. And resilience is built through facing those very changes that seem daunting at first. Each time you tackle a new challenge, you're not just surviving. You're gathering tools and insights that enhance your ability to handle whatever life throws at you next. This doesn't just make you stronger, it also makes you wiser. So the next time you find yourself standing at the edge of a big change, take a deep breath and remind yourself that this is an opportunity to exercise your strength in its purest form. Reflect on the times you've adapted in the past and how those experiences have shaped the person you are today. And remember, like the Stoics, that each change brings with it a chance to reaffirm your values, test your flexibility, and grow in ways you might never have imagined otherwise. Sign 2. You ask for help. There's a common misconception that asking for help is a sign of weakness, that it somehow means you're not capable or independent enough to handle things on your own. But let's clear the air right now. This couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, knowing when and how to seek assistance is a hallmark of true strength and wisdom. It's about recognizing your limits and understanding that collaboration often leads to better outcomes than going it alone. Think about the last time you reached out for help. It could have been something as simple as asking for directions when you were lost, or seeking advice on a project at work that was giving you trouble. Initially, you might have hesitated, worried about how others would perceive your request. But when you did ask, how did it feel? If you're like most people, there was probably a sense of relief, followed by the realization that seeking help didn't diminish your abilities, but rather enhanced them. The Stoics, who were always keen on practical strategies for living well, emphasized the importance of self-reliance, but also recognized that we live in a community with others for a reason. They taught that wisdom doesn't just come from within, it also comes from the collective experience and expertise of the people around us. Seneca, a renowned Stoic philosopher, wrote extensively about the mutual benefits of helping one another. He believed that we grow wiser by learning from others, and that this interchange of support strengthens not only individual character, but the bonds of community as well. Asking for help is an exercise in humility and courage. It requires you to admit that you don't have all the answers, which, let's face it, is the reality for everyone, regardless of how competent or accomplished they may be. It also demands the courage to be vulnerable, to expose your uncertainties or shortcomings. But here's the kicker: vulnerability is not a liability. It's a bridge to deeper connections with others, fostering an environment where people feel valued and relationships grow stronger. Moreover, when you ask for help, you're giving someone else the opportunity to shine, to share their knowledge and skills. This not only leads to better solutions, but also helps build a culture of teamwork and respect. It's a reciprocal process. Today, you might be the one asking for help, but tomorrow, you could be the one offering it. This give and take is fundamental to human relationships and is essential for building resilient communities and networks. So, remember that reaching out is not a sign of defeat. It's a strategy for success. It's about leveraging the collective strength around you to overcome challenges more effectively. The Stoics would remind us that no one is an island, and our interactions with others can be a profound source of strength. By asking for help, you're not only affirming the interconnectedness of our experiences, but also embodying the wisdom that comes with knowing you don't have to go it alone. Sign 3. You learn from failure. Nobody sets out to fail. We all want to succeed, to nail it every single time. But life has a way of throwing curveballs, and sometimes, despite our best efforts, things just don't go as planned. It's in these moments, in the aftermath of what we might initially see as failures, that the seeds of growth are sown. It might sound a bit counterintuitive, but true strength isn't shown by how many victories you rack up. Instead, it's revealed through how you deal with setbacks. Let's say you took on a project at work, and despite pulling late nights and pouring your heart into it, the end result didn't meet your expectations, or worse, it flopped completely. The initial sting of disappointment is natural, but what you do next defines your true strength. If you can look past the bruised ego and dissect what went wrong, you're not just failing, you're learning, Each mistake becomes a lesson, a guide to better strategies or new approaches. The Stoic philosophers had a pretty robust take on this. They believed that every external event, good or bad, comes with the opportunity to strengthen our character. Epictetus, one of the leading figures in Stoic philosophy, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This mindset encourages us to see what we typically perceive as failures, not as disasters, but as invaluable feedback. It's about embracing the idea that our most significant growth often comes from our most challenging experiences. Failure teaches resilience, the ability to bounce back after setbacks, which is a cornerstone of Stoic teaching. It builds a kind of psychological fortitude that can't be shaken easily, because once you've navigated through the low points, you're better equipped to handle future challenges. This resilience isn't about brushing off failures or pretending they don't hurt. It's about acknowledging the pain and using it as fuel for improvement. Moreover, learning from failure makes you more adaptable. In a world that's constantly changing, adaptability is a critical skill, and each failure you encounter is an opportunity to hone this skill. It forces you to look at situations from different angles, to be creative, to innovate, and to find new solutions to old problems. This kind of flexibility is what can set you apart in both your personal and professional life. And there's a certain humility that comes with this learning process. Acknowledging and learning from your failures requires admitting that you don't have all the answers, that you're still a work in progress. This humility isn't a weakness, it's a strength that fosters growth and wisdom, paving the way for more authentic interactions with others who can relate to your experiences and might learn from them as well. So, the next time you face what seems like a failure, take a moment to step back and assess what it can teach you. Reflect on the experience, not with self-criticism or regret, but with a learner's curiosity. What can this situation teach you about yourself, your methods, or your approach? How can it help you do better next time? This reflective practice not only builds resilience, but also deepens your understanding of life's complexities, making you stronger and wiser. Sign 4. You set boundaries. In a world that constantly demands our time and energy, knowing when to say no is not just smart, it's essential for maintaining our mental and emotional well-being. It's easy to think of boundary setting as pushing people away, but in reality, it's about drawing a line that helps you stay true to yourself and your needs. This isn't about being standoffish or cold. It's about ensuring you're not stretching yourself too thin or compromising on what matters most to you. Boundary setting is a profound exercise in understanding your limits and honoring them, which is something the Stoics were big on. They taught that wisdom lies in recognizing what is within our power to change and what isn't. By setting boundaries, you actively practice this philosophy. You take control of what you can, which in this case is your time, your energy, and your emotional space. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, once advised, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." This means being forgiving and understanding toward others, but disciplined about your own choices and how you let others affect you. Think about the last time you said yes when you really wanted to say no. Maybe you ended up feeling resentful or burnt out. That's a clear sign that your boundaries were crossed. When you start setting and enforcing your boundaries, you might worry about disappointing others, but here's the kicker. The people who truly care for and respect you will understand your limits. They will support your need to take care of yourself. On the other hand, those who react negatively are likely benefiting from your lack of boundaries, which isn't a basis for a healthy relationship. Setting boundaries is also about respecting yourself enough to prioritize your well-being. It involves acknowledging that your needs are valid and important. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's necessary. Like Seneca said, if you really want to escape the things that harass you, what you're needing is not to be in a different place, but to be a different person. Setting boundaries helps you become that different person, one who knows their worth and protects it. Moreover, when you set boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. It sets a precedent for what you accept and what you won't tolerate. This clarity helps prevent misunderstandings and builds healthier, more transparent relationships. Whether it's at work, with family, or in friendships, clear boundaries make for clearer, more respectful interactions. So remember that it's okay to say no. It's okay to put your own needs first. It's more than okay, it's vital. Each time you uphold your boundaries, you reaffirm your self-respect and reinforce your capacity to navigate life on your terms. Sign 5. You're kind to yourself. We all have those days when nothing seems to go right. The alarm doesn't go off, the coffee spills, the traffic is worse than usual, and by the time we sit down to get some work done, it feels like the whole world is against us. It's easy in these moments to become our own worst critic, to harshly judge ourselves for every little mistake or misstep. But what if, instead of beating ourselves up, we chose a different path, one of kindness and self-compassion? Being kind to yourself doesn't mean making excuses or letting yourself off the hook for genuine responsibilities. Rather, it's about treating yourself with the same compassion you'd offer a good friend in your situation. It's about recognizing that being human involves imperfection and that it's okay to give yourself a break sometimes. This idea aligns closely with Stoic teachings, which emphasize control over one's own responses and attitudes. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, believed that tranquility comes from accepting what we cannot change and working constructively with what we can influence. When you're kind to yourself, you're essentially practicing this principle. You're accepting your human frailties while encouraging yourself to grow and improve in a healthy, balanced way. Think about how you react when you face personal setbacks. Maybe you missed an important deadline or didn't perform as well as you hoped during a presentation. If your first instinct is to criticize yourself, try taking a step back and asking, what would I say to a friend in this situation? Often, you'll find that your words to others are much kinder than the words you direct at yourself. By applying the same supportive advice to your own life, you can shift towards a more positive and forgiving self-perception. Moreover, being kind to yourself also means recognizing and celebrating your strengths and successes, no matter how small they may seem. Did you handle a difficult conversation with grace? Did you help a colleague out when they were overwhelmed? These are victories worth acknowledging and can help build self-esteem and a more resilient mindset. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, frequently wrote about the importance of self-reflection and personal integrity in his meditations. He advocated for a life lived in accordance with nature, which includes our own nature as rational and social beings. This includes the rational management of our emotions and actions, an endeavor that certainly benefits from a compassionate approach to self-evaluation and discipline. By fostering a kinder relationship with yourself, you not only enhance your well-being, but also set a foundation for more effective interactions with others. People who practice self-compassion are often better equipped to empathize with others, creating deeper and more meaningful connections. Sign 6. You adapt quickly. Life doesn't always play by the rules. Sometimes, just when you think you have all your ducks in a row, something changes and suddenly you're playing a completely different game. It could be a sudden job shift, an unexpected move, or any big life change that demands a quick pivot. The ability to adapt quickly to these changes is not just a handy skill, It's a major indicator of inner strength and agility. When you adapt quickly, you're essentially embodying one of the core tenets of Stoicism, the recognition that while we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. The Stoics, like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, stressed the importance of remaining undisturbed by external changes, advocating for a life where our peace of mind is derived not from our circumstances, but from our reactions to them. Imagine you're in a job that you've known inside and out, and suddenly you're thrust into an entirely new role that requires skills you haven't fully developed. The initial reaction might be panic or doubt. But adapting quickly doesn't mean you immediately excel without struggle. Rather, it means you accept the new challenge with open arms and a willingness to learn. It means you use your existing knowledge as a stepping stone, and you approach the new requirements with a mindset geared toward growth and learning. This kind of adaptability is about flexibility and resilience. It's about looking at unforeseen changes not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities to expand your skills and deepen your experience. When you adapt quickly, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're taking active steps to mold yourself to new circumstances rather than waiting passively for the world to shape itself to your liking. Moreover, quick adaptation is often about creative thinking and problem solving. It's about seeing beyond the immediate inconvenience of change and envisioning how this new situation might lead to new personal or professional growth. This perspective shift is crucial and is very much in line with Stoic philosophy, which encourages us to view every external event as an opportunity to practice virtues like courage, wisdom, and temperance. But it's important to remember that adapting quickly doesn't mean you disregard your feelings about the change. It means you acknowledge those feelings, process them, and then use them as fuel to move forward. This is where the Stoic practice of reflection becomes invaluable. By reflecting on your experiences and your responses, you gain insights that not only help you in the current situation, but also prepare you for future changes. So, when life throws you a curveball, take a moment to steady yourself, reflect on your principles, and then move forward with a flexible, open mind. Embrace the change as a path to new horizons, not as a detour from your journey. Each time you successfully adapt, you're not just getting through another challenge, you're building a repertoire of skills and experiences that enhance your ability to handle whatever comes next. Sign 7. You forgive. Holding on to grudges can be like carrying a backpack filled with stones. It gets heavier with each step, making it harder to move forward. Forgiving those who have wronged us, though it may seem counterintuitive, is actually one of the most liberating actions we can take. It frees up emotional space, allowing us to navigate life with a lighter load. This concept of forgiveness aligns deeply with Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes the importance of controlling our emotions and reactions. The Stoics taught that negative emotions like anger and resentment do more harm to us than to the person who caused these feelings. They advocated for a rational approach to interpersonal conflicts, suggesting that we should manage our responses with reason rather than with heated emotions. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, once noted that it's not what happens to us that affects us, but how we react to it. From this perspective, forgiveness is not just a kind gesture toward another person, it's an act of self-preservation. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you condone their actions or forget the pain they caused. Rather, it's about choosing to let go of the anger and hurt so that you can move on. Think of a time when someone let you down or betrayed your trust. The initial sting is sharp and can often linger, leading to bitterness if left unchecked. But when you decide to forgive, you take back control. You decide that someone else's actions will not dictate your emotional state. Moreover, forgiveness can lead to profound personal growth. When you forgive, you open yourself up to understanding and compassion, not just for others, but also for yourself. It involves recognizing that everyone, including you, makes mistakes, and that these errors don't have to define us. Instead, they can teach us valuable lessons about forgiveness, resilience, and empathy. Forgiveness also fosters healthier relationships. By clearing away the resentment, you create space for more positive interactions. It doesn't necessarily mean that you must continue a relationship with someone who has deeply hurt you, but it does mean that you're not letting past harms control your future connections. In this way, forgiveness can lead to stronger, more authentic relationships built on understanding and mutual respect. From a Stoic point of view, practicing forgiveness also reflects a commitment to living according to nature, which includes our nature as social animals who are meant to live in harmony with others. Marcus Aurelius, another prominent Stoic thinker, argued for seeing the best in others and working towards common good, advising that when someone errs, we should teach them and restore them without sarcasm or malice. And there you have it, a journey through the subtleties of strength that often go unrecognized. Remember, true strength is not about how loudly you roar or how high you climb, but about the quiet resilience, the gentle forgiveness, and the compassionate boundaries you maintain every day. Thank you for joining me on this path of self-discovery here at Stoic Journal. If you found these insights helpful, consider watching our next video, where we dive even deeper into the Stoic principles that can help transform your life. Just click on the video appearing on your screen now. Thank you for being part of our community, for growing with us, and for choosing to walk the Stoic path towards a more fulfilled and balanced life. See you in the next video.